Yo, what is good everybody? It's your boy Tej, and in this video I'm gonna be showing y'all how to make a beat for EST Gee and 42 Dugg's new project, Last Ones Left. And the style of this beat is gonna be that dark piano style that Foreverolling likes to make. I made the beat from scratch, so I'm gonna be showing y'all my entire process of making the sample and adding drums to it. If you're new to the channel and you like these types of videos, be sure to hit subscribe. As always, I'll have the finished beat played at the end of the video, so be sure to stick around for that. And with all that out of the way, let's just hop right into the beat. Before I start breaking down any of the stems, I'm gonna show y'all what the finished sample sounds like. A lot of the beats that EST Gee and Dugg use are typically faster tempos. Most EST Gee beats I'd say are above 145, specifically probably like in the 150 to 170 range. The same kind of goes for 42 Dugg, except he uses some Detroit beats and typically those sit like 175 or higher. For this beat specifically, I chose 161 beats per minute. So starting off with my first melody sound, I got this rich ballad piano preset from Keyscape, and I started by putting this pattern in the piano roll. I started by constructing this main pattern right here in D sharp minor, and Foreverolling likes to use the keys of D minor and D sharp minor a lot.
I like stuff to slap, you feel me? I'm saying, you know, D minor, you know what I'm saying? If you send this up to me, if I see something that says D minor, I'm gonna automatically click it. Like, that's my favorite key, D minor, you feel me? It's gonna slap every time.
So I just started off with this kind of repetitive pattern right here. So I just started by making the first measure, and then I just copied it over, and then as you can see, I adjusted some of the notes, and then I just took those two measures and then I copied them over, and once again at the end I just adjusted those last 3 or 4 notes a little bit, and then once I had my first 4, I just copied it over for the full 8, and that was all I really did for the top melody. And once I had done that, I lowered the velocities by holding Alt and scrolling on my scroll wheel, and once I had done that, I hit Alt R on my keyboard, and then it opened up this randomizer tool here. I just had the levels on and just adjusted the velocity knob a little bit. That's how I got my velocities to be randomized, and then I also went in and manually adjusted some of them too. And then I added this counter melody here on the bottom. This doesn't stand out too much in the final mix, but I kind of like the added touch that it had. So then I took that same piano preset and I opened up a new pattern and I just put in my bass notes, and those correspond with the counter melody notes that I showed you in the previous pattern. I routed both of those to the same mixer track and I put on this low cut EQ. For my next melody sound, I opened up this sustained vibrato string preset from the Orchestra Complete. And for this pattern, I decided to keep it kind of basic. I just kept those same bass notes I showed y'all in the last pattern, and I just added their 5th notes using the D sharp minor scale. And I just added these couple lead-in notes. And for effects on that, I just put on an EQ to cut out some of the harsh noises in the mids and the treble and cut out some of the lows. Next, I opened up Xband and I got this solo violin string preset. And with this, I was just putting in a top counter melody, and I'm just using those same notes that I've been using throughout the patterns so far. And for effects on the violin, I put on some RC20 on the Vinyl 1 preset. I turned the noise off and adjusted the wobble, distortion, and space knobs. And then lastly, I opened up SAR and I went to the bass presets and got this FG funk line preset. And if it ain't broke, don't fix it. We're just using those same bass notes that I've been using in, I think this is the 3rd pattern now. The only change that I made was I just put these A sharp notes up an octave. So once I had done that, I rendered each of those stems out as audio clips, arranged them like so, and rendered out the final loop. So once I had that rendered out as a wave, I imported the loop into a new project file, and I took those stems and arranged them to my liking, added the drums, and completed the track. So moving on to the drums, all the drum sounds that I used are from my upcoming introspection drum kit, which will be free, by the way. So once it drops, be sure to go cop it if it already isn't up by the time this video is out. So the first sound I want to start with is this clap. I just put in the standard clap pattern, and the only thing that's different is I just put this clap on the offbeat in the 4th and 8th measures. Next, I put in my hi-hat. For this, I tried to keep it relatively simple. As you can see, the basis of the pattern is a 2-step, and for all the rolls, I went to the green magnet icon and hit 1/2 step snapping. And also another thing that I did to kind of add a little bit of bounce to the hi-hats, I went to this wrench icon in the hi-hat sound, and then I went to this shift knob right here under the time section and turned it up a little bit. Next, I added the snare sound. Similar to the hi-hats, I tried to keep this one relatively simple. I put my snares on the typical offbeats on the end of the even measures. Similar to the hi-hats, the rolls that I did end up putting were using the 1/2 step snapping. And then next, I put the first of my 2 open hats. My next open hat sound is shorter and it layers with the 808. And lastly, I have my 808, so this is the first of my 2 patterns. Overall, for the note placement, I tried to keep this fairly straightforward. I'm just following those same bass notes that I had in the low notes of the piano and also the saw bass that I had in the loop. I just placed the notes where I felt they were suitable, and I put in this reverse right here, and that's using the 1/4 step snapping, using the paintbrush tool to paint the notes in, and then I just rolled up the velocities accordingly. And then for this roll at the end, it is using the 1/2 step snapping. And then I made a second similar looking 808 pattern, but the main difference is that I tried to make it a little simpler and have the notes hit along with the saw bass. By itself, it sounds like this. And all together with the saw bass. So that's all I got for this one. Hope you all enjoyed the video. Hope you found it helpful and were able to take something away from it. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like. If you want to see more videos like this, be sure to subscribe. Let me know what you'd like to see me do next in the comments below, and leave any feedback that you might have about this one. And that's going to do it for me. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Peace.